Carson. This is Ed McMahon along with Doc Severinsen and the NBC Orchestra, inviting you to join Johnny and his guest, Merv Griffin. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Very nice. Thank you. Yeah. How many in your party? Antoine, a table for 500. What's... Friday night, right?
Yeah.
You can tell the audience. Let me guess, you all just flew in from the Harvard birthday celebration. You make up for last night. We had... No, come on. Are they gone? Lowbrow crowd last night, right?
Yeah.
I was distracted during the monologue by a woman in the third row sitting right over there, and every time she crossed her legs, her hair curlers made sparks. Give you an idea how rough they were before their show, they all received firearms from Nancy Reagan's maid. Tough group. Anyway, you sound good. We got a good show. I thank you for coming. A lot of you are from out of town, I know, visiting here. Los Angeles is a strange place, wouldn't you say? Yeah. I drive to work, as you know. Came down Sunset Boulevard today. Girl holding up a sign that said, 0% financing. My day got off to a strange start. Went to take a shower this morning, and Bobby Ewing stepped out. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Last season's cliffhanger, Dallas, Bobby Ewing stepped out of Victoria Principal's shower after he was supposedly dead. Now, that's my idea of dying and going to heaven. Okay, so, we got a good show tonight. Later on, we're going to have a meat-slinging fight between Goose Gossage and Ronald McDonald. I better reprise what happened. If you know Goose Gossage, the pitcher, was suspended by the Padres for disparaging remarks about McDonald's. And, of course, the lady who owns McDonald's, Joan Kropp, is the owner of the Padres. He was suspended. Found out it was going to cost him $300,000. So today, Goose decided that McDonald's ranks with some of the finest restaurants in the world. Turnabout. Gutsy guy. The news is about Harvard University's in the paper. 350 years. Anybody here go to Harvard? Of course not. You're... Freddie de Cordova, you went to Harvard, didn't you?
Harvard Law School, sir.
What are you doing on this show?
If I've asked myself that
Harvard, I think, has turned out, according to them, they have turned out most of the doctors, lawyers, and politicians in this country. It's about time we shut that place down. Anyway... Harvard has turned out a lot of great actors. Sylvester Stallone went to Harvard. They turned him out. Well, hey, man's got to do what he's got to do, you know. Now, on television news last night, Gaddafi, Colonel Gaddafi, couldn't even make himself a major. I mean, Colonel. Doesn't he own the country? Maybe he's a colonel. Couldn't he be whatever he wants to be?
Sure, he'd be general.
Well, he could be general, so he's a colonel. Shows you how bright he is. General de Gaulle? De Gaulle was a general. This ninny is a colonel. He made his speech yesterday in Zimbabwe to the representatives of the 100 non-aligned nations, and while he was talking, there was a simultaneous translation of his speech into rational. Of course. Gaddafi, of course, spoke in his native tongue, bonkers. Weird. All right, according to the newspapers today, an interesting controversy. You may be aware of this. The networks will not allow commercials for contraceptives on television. Some people said they should. The networks maintain that showing birth control devices on television will offend some viewers. It depends on your point of view. Now, the networks claim they are already promoting birth control by televising the football season. On the way home tonight, you're going to say, hey, that's not bad. You know whose birthday it is today? Davy Crockett. 200. Davy Crockett, too. The band is applauding Davy Crockett. Best known for wearing, I guess, a coonskin cap. You ever wear a coonskin cap?
Never.
Some scout. Everybody knew he was coming. Coonskin cap is not a... Hello. Okay. Well, tonight, one of my guests, as you know, is Mr. Merv Griffin. And Merv... Merv, as you know, is retiring from his show. Merv sold his company to Coca-Cola for a lot of money. I'm not doing as well. I'm fighting a hostile takeover from Bartles and James. Well, Merv is retiring from his race. Merv now has a new distinction. He's the only personality in Hollywood who doesn't have a late-night talk show anymore. No, Merv is a good friend, but I'll be honest. Toward the end, Merv was stretching for theme shows. I saw one last month, Famous Midgets and Their Moms. You haven't lived till you've seen Bertha Villachez. Anyway. Also, it's going to be a good show. Ooh, yes, Merv's here. Also, consumer advocate David Horowitz is with us tonight. David is back. David is backstage right now as I speak, sorting out trail mix, seeing if we're being shortchanged on sunflower seeds. And very funny comedian Paula Poundstone is with us tonight. And later on is a special surprise. All the owners of lighting fixture stores on Ventura Boulevard will be out here to tell us how many Valley girls it takes to change a light bulb. Anyway, stay where you are. Thank you. Whoopee. Hello, friends. There we are back. Good crowd tonight. Anything to report?
Nothing spectacular.
I'm catching the red eye tonight.
I heard that.
Yeah. That's the late plane to New York.
Yeah.
That's a strange schedule. You get into New York
Like
about
6,
6, but
yeah.
it's 3 o'clock your time. You ever take that flight?
Yeah, well, many times.
And try to convince yourself that it's 6 in the morning when your mind is saying, or your brain is saying it's 3?
And you want to go to bed, and you can't.
Go out and watch the tennis.
Sure.
Go back and watch the U.S. Open. Anyway, tonight on the show, we have Mr. Merv Griffin, who will join us, who just concluded his last show, I think, that Merv taped, was shown tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Remarkable record, on for over 23 years. David Horowitz is with us, who will show us how not to get ripped off. Paula Poundstone, a very funny comedian. Anything else I'm forgetting? No. All right. Like most large office buildings.
Boy, you plunge right in, don't you?
I got this
no
stuff.
segue, nothing. Just bang.
Well, you tell them what we're going to do.
Right.
NBC, as you know, has a public address system, and sometimes, like major large corporations, they have a paging system. It went out today.
Oh.
And they had some announcements to make to the building, and they asked me if I would make these series of general announcements. Do you buy that?
Yeah.
Why?
Tell them what you're going to tell them.
That's right.
Tell them.
And I hope you'll bear with me, and this will go to all the offices and all over NBC, and I hate to take up your time to do this, but it's...
But they asked you to do it.
They asked me to do it, and I figured since we had no other material... Attention. See, this is kind of loud. Maintenance man needed in the wardrobe department. Air conditioning is out. The Golden Girls' rubber stockings have melted. Some of these you may find amusing. Stagehand Lyle Katz has won a $25 gift certificate in the NBC employee Describe Yourself in the Nude contest. Attention. You think the reverb helps at all? Will anyone with information leading to the arrest or conviction of the persons who let the air out of the heels of Bert Convy's shoes please speak to the security guard? Attention. I feel like a guy at Kmart. Shoppers, aisle 6, garden hose. Phil Donahue will be doing a show from Burbank next week. If you are a Nazi transvestite bedwetter, report to the Donahue casting office immediately. We have a correction. All employees taking the mandatory drug test should have proceeded to the first aid room, not the commissary. We apologize for any inconvenience may have caused anyone. Last line I can't even read. Attention, KNBC News, local news here in Los Angeles, wishes to announce they are doing a special program on dyslexia tonight. Flim at 11. Don't write. Don't. Attention, all female employees, call security if you are approached by a man with an open blue raincoat. He is not, repeat, he is not a Smurf. Attention, members of the Tonight Show band. The Rub-a-Dub-Dub Massage Parlor on Buena Vista Street will be considered off-limits following yesterday's incident involving the parachute and the miniature Civil War soldiers. Don't even know what that means. Attention, janitorial staff. Report to the Alameda Avenue entrance. The Bloodmobile has been tipped over by Ed McMahon, who thought it said Bloody Mary Mobile. Ooh. Anyway, tonight, Mr. Merv Griffin is here, Paula Poundstone, David Horowitz, and we'll be back in just a moment.
You want to hold it up, John?
I beg your pardon?
You got to hold up.
Oh, yeah, I do? Okay, well, we haven't left yet, right?
No.
Oh, good. Thanks for telling me. I thought we were off the air.
Yeah, you almost said that line you couldn't say.
Oh, no. Okay. Exceptionally smooth Michelob could make tonight the best part of your day.
You don't just brew a beer this good. You nurture it day and night. But we don't mind. Our nights make Michelob. And Michelob could make your night the best part of your day.
We are back. Okay. This is somewhat of a different departure for my first guest tonight. I consider Merv Griffin a friend and a colleague in this business, and Merv has just wrapped it up. I guess his last show was shown on the air tonight, earlier, after 23 years on television. And I'll tell you, in this business, anybody who can hang around for 23 years has got something, and they've got a loyal audience. So we thought, since his final show was tonight, since Merv has never appeared on this show before as a guest, it might be nice to have him come out and talk a while. Would you welcome Mr. Merv Griffin? Now, as if you didn't have enough money, you get another residual from your theme song. Good thinking.
Ooh, that was good.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it. Ooh. I start doing that.
You're thin.
Are you conscious?
Well, I mean, that steams me.
Are you conscious of your little mannerisms? You do them all the time, and I start picking up on them the past year or so, where you go, ooh, I've got, you know, I do this, I play with the pencils, I do this a lot.
Yeah.
But when we're performing, we are so unconscious of it. But the ooh.
And sometimes,
Yeah. You want to hear your laugh, what you do when somebody says something, and you're being so polite sometimes. Sometimes they don't say anything really funny at all, but you react like they just said something. So just say anything, and I'll do one of you.
Yeah, so, isn't it funny, Doc Severinsen looks like a communist Don Johnson.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Well, see, I think...
You didn't know that, huh?
No, but after all these years of doing the show, you do pick up little strange ticks.
Yeah, don't
You know, Rich Little counted yours. You have 28.
That's what he said once.
Yeah.
He came out and did a whole bunch of things, and I watched it and went crazy.
But they are fun.
Your last show is...
Tonight.
It was shown tonight.
You win.
What?
I say you win. 23.
There was a time when we were on opposite each other. You were on, Dick Cavett was on, and you had 3 shows at 11:30 on ABC, CBS, and NBC, which made it a little muddled.
It was
for
strange.
all of us.
We all were, I mean, we were going over to Sardi's and pulling guests, you know, out of the dining room. And if we'd see somebody in the phone booth, you'd say, "Be on the Merv Griffin show." The night it really all happened was the night, I don't know if you're aware of it, Jerry Lewis made all 4 shows and never told any of us.
Oh, yeah, he made the rounds.
He made the rounds and never told us. And I went to the staff the next day and I said, we got to leave town. You know, it's...
How did you feel? You know, it's a long time. It's a lot, thousands and thousands of shows.
Yeah.
You had to have, I know you have other things you want to do, but there has to be some mixed emotions.
Terrible.
When you close something like that up.
It hit me, I think, about a week before the close, after I had said, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
And the audience applauded. I said...
You don't know how to read that either, do you? Yeah.
Oh. I said, well, okay. And a week before the last show, it hit me. And I did a strange thing. I got in my new white Corvette, and...
I won't.
Same one?
Yeah.
They're parked together out there.
Are we
Yeah.
parked together?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
My dreams have come true.
In fact, on your way home tonight, I can phone you. You have a phone.
Good.
Yeah,
Give me
yeah. I'll
a
you.
call.
Ooh. Was it good, John? Ooh.
Good.
So I did a strange thing. I got in the car and I started driving, which was wonderful.
Just to clear the head.
However, I ended up way out in the desert, in the dark, finding on a map my way to a thing called Laughlin, Nevada. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Have you ever heard of Laughlin, Nevada? No. Have you? Someone once said, because I love Las Vegas, you do too, it is the new Las Vegas. Well,
Never heard of it.
I know. I drove for miles, hundreds of miles, And suddenly at 11 o'clock at night, I came up over a hill, and there it was, the whole Colorado River and all of the lights and the fantasy and the hotels of Las Vegas. And it was super. And I went in and played blackjack and got myself together, got in the car, came back home, did a lot of thinking, said...
All by yourself?
All by myself. I said, I now can handle it.
Yeah.
Right.
What did you say to your audience the last show?
I said, I'm going to say something I've never had the opportunity for 23 years on this show. I will not be right back after this message. Yeah. And I said, that's all, folks.
That's a long run. You know,
Yeah.
I know on your show tonight, which we played earlier, of course, on this show, you had a lot of clips of people who've been on your show. I'm sure a lot of them have been on this show and been on a lot of other shows, because in this business, a lot of the guests, of course, make the same shows. So you brought one clip tonight of somebody who I adored, Freddie DeCordova adored. Freddie worked for him, directed his show, and he probably had one of the greatest influences on me of any entertainer, which was Jack Benny. You brought a little snippet from Jack.
But I got to explain it.
Yeah.
I asked him possibly the dumbest question that anybody could ever ask, because a lot of times I am so awed by the guests that I say dumb things. Ooh. I don't do that. This one was to Jack Benny. I just didn't know how to handle him, and as you will see, I asked him a question, and he responds. Do you want to see it?
Sure.
This is my favorite.
Watch the monitor. Here's a question of Jack Benny.
Yeah.
George Burns?
Yes.
Terrible things.
The worst one I ever heard was when the late
I'm not
Jeanette
gonna
MacDonald
Well, that's the same thing.
was singing at her home after a dinner party, a few friends.
And George Burns came over to me and says, if you laugh when she sings, it'll be awful.
They carried you out, I heard
No, and then he stood in back of me, and I knew he was standing there. You can imagine what happened to me, and I'm sitting there. And why would I laugh at Jeanette MacDonald singing?
But did you?
Unless this guy would, well, it would have been beeped out anyway.
Do you remember your first laugh on a stage?
That's the silliest question.
God, I love the only man in the world, huh? Who would dare do that?
The only performer in the world who could get away with that.
Yeah.
Just stand and look at you and gut it out and stand there for... He could have probably done that another minute, and it would have kept building.
The day I knew I was getting ready to quit, because there were no more questions, and I had really run out. And Sophia Loren was a guest, and I was stunned. And I did a lot of staring at her, and she went right on. And finally she said, you realize I am 50 years old. And the audience all went, whoa. I didn't, but they did. And they all went, whoa, 50. And I said, is everything 50? And then I knew my time was...
It was time.
You know what I mean?
It's time to get in the Winnebago.
Yeah, get in the Winnebago.
We'll be right back.
Alan Cranston is America's leading opponent of apartheid in South Africa, and Congress has followed his lead. Republicans and Democrats alike voted for sanctions, but not Ed Shao. The top Democratic and Republican leaders in California support sanctions, but not Ed Shao. Shao says we should encourage American business to invest in South Africa. Do you want a senator who stands with the extremists, with Jesse Helms and Jerry Falwell on the wrong side in South Africa?
If you're concerned about the effects of music videos on our nation's youth, or you are our nation's youth, join the head of NBC programming and Jay Leno on Friday Night Videos.
First, there was the French Connection.
What are you looking at?
Now the cop that cracked it wide open is back.
Don't even think about it.
The world premiere of Popeye Doyle, Sunday.
I like what the governor's doing, and I'm glad I supported him. Now I look forward to working closely with him to build a better future for California.
Re-elect Duke Machen Governor, Mike Curb Lieutenant Governor. Sensible, experienced leadership for all California.
I oppose Rose Bird, and my opponent in this fall's election supports her. I think it's about time we get judges who will give the victims a better shake than the criminals.
Elect Duke Machen, Mike Curb, Team 86.
A special place for children of alcoholics.
I thought it was all my fault. I thought I made him drink.
An undercover Target 4 investigation of a shady help-wanted operation and the life of urban road warriors.
Feels great to be alive.
I'm Jim Paymar. Join Sylvia Chase and me for the premiere of our new Cover Story magazine. Sunday at 5:30 here on Channel 4.
Thank you, Doc. We're back. We're talking to Merv. When are you and Ava Gabor going to get married?
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
No. They have to space them. One just got married.
I just thought I would throw that out, too. You have been, as they say...
When are you and Alexis getting married?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, but you've been, as they say, keeping company with Ava for some time. And is it platonic, or is there more of a...
What's platonic mean?
Just a friendly...
We're both on Pluto waters?
No.
We've known each other a long time.
I know that. I'd love to see you struggle. You see, you did it again.
But that's it.
Okay, I'll get off of that. We have quite a bit in common, strangely enough. We both worked in radio.
Right.
Which
station were you?
I was in Omaha, and then the local station in Omaha. And then came out here. We both did a game show.
Right. You did Who Do You Trust?
Who Do You Trust?
Which was originally called
Do You Trust
Your Wife, but they changed it on account of you.
Yeah.
And I did Play Your Hunch.
That's right. Yeah. And then we both did a show from 6B in
we started the same day, same year, same studio.
We both
And we would be even in years. Mm-hmm. And we probably are if you count all your vacations. Right?
You came here to get all this out of your system.
No.
We both did a little stint on Broadway. You were in The Moon Is...
No Moon Is Blue I did. I was in Finian's Rainbow on Broadway.
I was in Tunnel of Love for a while on Broadway. We both... I only had one excursion into the movies.
Yeah, well, I had, unfortunately, more than that, but it could have been. We were going to have a film festival, a Merv Griffin film festival on my show, and when they put all of my appearances together, it ran 4 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. Out of 7 movies.
Is this picture here still from one of those pictures?
Yeah. See, that's the wrong way to kiss.
What is this?
That's Captain Grayson and me in So This Is Love.
So This Is Love.
Yeah.
I made a movie with Connie Francis called Looking for Love.
See?
And they transferred it to flammable nitrate stock. That was the only picture I ever made, but you made more than that.
Well, I did. I was a stock player at Warner Brothers, so I did Cattletown, A Boy from Oklahoma, 3 Sailors and a Girl. But, they were little cameos, you know.
You see, now, I never sang with a big band. You sang, of course, with Freddie Martin.
Yeah, but you played drums.
Yeah, but I never did the big band thing.
Yeah, we're both tall and thin.
And now... we're both
here,
tall.
Yeah.
And now Coca-Cola, and it was in all the pictures.
We both worked with Don Keogh.
That's right. Don
the
Keogh
president
now
of
Coca-Cola. Worked on in WW in Omaha. He did a show called Coffee Counter. We both started in television and back then.
No, I worked for him.
Yeah, but now your company was purchased by Coca-Cola. For a real big taste. You, as you would say, you're really loaded, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, they tell you that, see, but you never see it.
Okay, get out of here. What are you talking about? You never see it.
You don't see it. I mean, they buy the company, right? But do they come and stack the money on your desk?
Well,
they say
they wouldn't
to
have
you,
a big enough desk to stack that. You're talking... What are you talking about? I mean...
They say, we wired it to your bank.
Sure.
So I investigated. I said, what do you mean you wired that to my bank? Evidently, in some bank somewhere, there is a little man who, if they wire the money, gets the money and moves it over to your side. Right?
It's all paperwork. Anyway, that was very nice. Well, why not?
Well, there's mergers. Why don't you merge?
Well, I told you once I did a joke tonight about Bartles and James with the takeover, and I mentioned once when it first came out that Yoo-Hoo was trying to take over by my company, and you sent me a six-pack. How many of you remember Yoo-Hoo, the chocolate drink?
That's the
showed up at my office a six-pack of Yoo-Hoo, which I still have up there.
Dr. Brown's celery tonic is looking for a merchant.
Yeah. No, what are your plans? You mentioned to me when we had dinner together a few weeks ago that you might do a show based on the big band era and with new music from the old Coconut Grove in Los Angeles. Is there anything happening with that?
Well, no, it's not from the old Coconut Grove. No. When I first started, I had a band. Cal Jader was my drummer. We went to school together, and we went out and played jobs. First job was a Coconut Grove in Santa Cruz, California. Second job, no, really? That'll ruin the demographics of the audience. Then the second job was with Freddie Martin, the Coconut Grove in Hollywood. My first hit record with him was I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts.
I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts.
So I figured we call it the Coconut Ball.
How many of you remember? Let me find
Oh, no, this is
How many? I
I
remember it. I remember the song. I can sing it for you, and I can give you the melody. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Very good.
Is that it?
That's very... You were a fan of mine when you were a little kid?
No. I just remember that awful song.
What? B flat. Dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Down at an English fair, one evening I was there, when I heard a showman shouting underneath the flare, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. There they are standing in the row. Big ones, small ones, some must be a share. You give them a twist, a flick of the wrist, that's what the showman said.
Well, there's a...
For more money, I would finish, of course.
There's definitely a music video in that. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. I've got a lovely...